problem in Enlisted. And it's a very long history problem, and that's not having the updates that people have been asking for or needed. Enlisted stagnant right now. They're not getting a lot of new players, and they're losing some of the old players. And a lot of it's because they have been ignoring players for so long. It's become the norm. And when you're a forum manager and you ignore players, you can't get mad when they start asking questions and start chewing you out. So basically, they have a minor update coming, right? Extremely, extremely minor. And it basically only fixed things that they fixed last time that they thought they fixed. Like when you're driving a spawn truck, they wanted you to do it 80 out from a distance from the point you're supposed to take or defend. Then it came in a 15. I think you do some of them a little bit closer. They just fixed it. But now they want to do one thing, bug that a lot of people have been complaining about, I guess, is when you're trying to save their units. So if you want to take a tier 3 divisions, they want to look fixed a little bit better. Okay, I have no complaints about that, right? So there's a spawn range truck. But some of the problem is that some people have been asking for the major stuff, okay? Like the distance markers I just mentioned. On the PlayStation 5, if you want to block somebody, you have to invite them to your friends and contact list, then block them. And it shouldn't be that way. Sometimes you got to block players because of how they're acting. Sometimes you get inappropriate messages from players. You get, threats from players, and you want to block them. You don't want to deal with them anymore. And to be honest, when you block a player, you shouldn't even be put in a game. So like this guy said, can we get a squads with IQ over 1, right? So people have been complaining about squads in Enlisted for a long time. Like when you switch over to your squad, they're either holding binoculars, they're looking in a different direction than what they're being fired on. I've caught bots staring at wall paintings. They don't have ammo loaded. They're not following you in the courses they should be following you. So there is a bot problem in Enlisted. And the thing is, Enlisted advertises on squad based. Okay. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense to have that type of game where your marketing has, hey, you could take a squad into battle when your squad's only 1 IQ, right? So, nice, but no event. I wonder when the Jerry parrots would think about this. Okay, great parrots. So, who says it is currently in the works? Everything's always in the works, Major McDonald. It's like going to a movie theater and you see everything's coming out soon, but there's no really movies out now. So we don't want to hear it's coming out soon. We've been asking for a lot of stuff. And there was a new event now, but it's just a pistol. Ooh, that's what everybody wants, a pistol, right? Ooh, that's really going to help the player base there. Way to go, guys, down there at Enlisted. So you could read all his stuff here if you want to pause, but he's a Japanese player. But some of them pretty pissed about a lot of things, right? And I basically said, spawn range, thanks for fixing. Want more special customers. But basically, Major's only been responding to the very simple stuff. He's not responding to complaints that people have been talking about for years. And some of the UI people are still talking about. So I basically said, where are the distant marker fixes? When would the Japanese tech tree be fixed? Because Japan has no tier 5 bomber. Matter of fact, I was trying to upload a current Japanese tech tree, but it's hard to find one that I could put in a video for this right now. But basically, so Germany has over 110 units. America has over 110 units. Way over, right? Russia's close to 100, but Japan's barely 55. I actually own every unit in Japan except for the bike. I'm not going to buy them stupid bikes. I think they're stupid. Other people like them. That's fine. I'm not going to mark. I'm not going to talk bad. If you like them, you like them. But I'm not going to do it for me. So Japan barely has 55. But like other people pointed out in here, is that we're being ignored, right? And somebody actually had a great point about Japan here too. Notice, because in the war, Japan had one of the biggest air forces around at the time, right? So why is it in the tech tree they had the fewest, but in the war they had one of the biggest? It doesn't make any sense. It actually comes down to sheer laziness on Enlisted's part, right? And so I basically said, because I'm tired of Major ignoring me, because I've been asking the same questions for years, and he's never once responded to me. So I said blatantly, since you're ignoring me, I'm just going to stop playing money in this game. I don't like the way I'm being treated and ignored. And I'm not lying. I don't like the way I'm being treated and ignored. A lot of players don't. That's why they left. That's why you're not growing a bigger base every time. especially a base for players that pay. There's a difference between players that pay to help fund the money for Enlisted and maybe players that play for free. And on the marketing, if you pay for free, I'm just saying there's a difference, a big difference, right? So, other people were talking about a few things. Damn, there's not much to it, and I ain't playing that. I already have 4 of those pistols, right? So, other people basically said, this is why people complain about Enlisted just copy and pasting, redoing events. He's already got those pistols, so why are they redoing the event? But the major said, hey, they're working on good stuff right now. That's not good stuff, according to players. So I basically said, we need new leaders in this game. Current management is failing us. I won't spend no more money in this game since Major ignores me and never answers anything to what I ask. Pretty sure I spend more money than anybody in this game, and it's true. It's true. Anybody stupid, extremely stupid on their part, if they hate me this much, I'll find a new game that welcomes me. And I'm playing. I'm about 1 second away from deleting. So, Major finally responded. This is something that requires a fix. He's talking about the Tier 5 bomber. This is new content. Okay, where's the new content? We've been asking for 5 years. How long does it take to make a new bomber in the game, especially its own unit? Because sometimes in Japan, if you get a new stuff, it's copy and pasted. But they want to throw it in the same unit as something else, lazily, instead of making maybe the proper unit that it belongs in or different units. You could take 2 different things in a battle instead of having to just pick one. So when it comes to Japan, the devs are so freaking lazy, it's unbelievable. This is something that requires a fix, he says, but this is asking for new content in terms of weapons and vehicles as a major, rather than the small QO fixes. So they're basically, they're focused more on these QOL fixes, these small little fixes that they're doing, instead of the big fixes that we've been asking, right? So when is the block player fixed? I've already talked about that. Finally, goes, it's been fed back to the developers. Right? That's really all you got to do as a forum manager to begin with, because I've been asking about that for half a year already. Right? So if he did that 6 months ago, I wouldn't have complained about it now, and he wouldn't have got the ass chewing that he did get from me. Okay? So I asked go right about the squad path for it, because it was just another excuse from him. So, but this is really what pisses me off, is when forum managers lie. This forum moderator, Yui Hibiki, lied. He said, I'd like to remind you, forum rule, regarding use of insults and profanity. Please keep in mind most of your posts and mess room topics are created as suggestions topic. I don't give a damn what you keeping in mind. And by the way, I didn't use profanity, so I gave him an epic ass chewing. I really did. I was really pissed about that. In fact, that Japan's land-based armor forces were not numerous, and Navy had the abundance of aircraft and other equipment, with only a few tanks in the ground, but a huge number of aircraft in the sky. Logically speaking, with so much material, they should have been chewing out a lot of supplements to fill in the gaps in the tech tree. I'm not the only one thinking this. Other players have been thinking this, and have been telling them this for so long. And it's been ignored for so long. It's been ignored by the CEO of Enlisted, by Gajian. It's been ignored by the managers, the dev managers, and we're kind of sick of it. We're at the point now as players, like, hey, we're not going to take this little crap no more. Do what you're supposed to do, damn it, or we're leaving. That's just that. Do what you're freaking supposed to do, and there wouldn't be a fucking problem to begin with. And the thing is, I know I might be cussing now, forgive me, but I didn't cuss in anything I wrote. So the manager, and, you know, he goes on, he could pause it. He's right about a few things, right? So these quality of life updates are very nice. Could heavy tank jump Japan? Please buff the M4. See, that's another thing. So the guy says, could you please buff the M4 silencer recoil control of the normal MP4 and increase the speed? So this guy, whether you like it or not, he has a suggestion. There's not one reply to Stranger. Stranger wasn't important enough for them to even make a reply to anything he says. But they have multiple forum managers, but they can't even reply to people in a forum. And it's kind of sick and disgusting, to be honest, because he's a player. He's asking about something, and he's not getting any kind of response. And this is the kind of stuff that drives players away. And it's the kind of stuff that makes players like Major look bad. Forum managers like Major look bad. So other people saying, you know, awesome. So I blatantly chewed out the damn forum manager. I didn't use any profanity. Stop lying. It is a lie. You guys saw it for yourself. There wasn't one swear word in there. There was no profanity anywhere. I don't appreciate that. I don't like people lying about me. So, in my opinion, since you lied, you shouldn't be a forum moderator. That's not do stuff like that. I have every right to be upset. Don't you ever say I use swear words again. I am not upset. It's not always going to be sunshine, rainbows, and puppy tails. I didn't break any rules either. There are things in this game that is not happening that players have been complaining about for years. We want answers. Silencing players or lying saying to use profanity is not helping anyone. Why I wrote a letter certified to your CEO and enlisted management explaining these long-time complaints from players, and I did. I sent out a letter already with the copy of, I actually copied what the forum manager said and copied what I wrote anywhere, and I asked the CEO and the managers, where did I swear? Where? Actually, it's going to take a while to get there, but I know when they get it because I'm going to get a message saying that they received it, right? Because I asked for it to be certified. It actually took a while to find where enlisted headquarters were. It's overseas, and it took a while to figure out who was who and who to write it specifically to, but I wrote a very nice long letter, and I should have recorded everything because I've been upset. I'm so upset. I actually wrote the headquarters of enlisted, Gage Ian, a letter, and actually had to write what some of the forum managers are doing and not doing and some of the lies that they were saying. Right? So science and players saying that, well, I complained about for years. We want answers. Science and players or lying, saying they use profanities to helping anyone. I wrote a letter, like I just said. Also a reminder, major owner replied back after I complained. That's another problem. Right? Maybe don't wait. This could have been avoided responding to players when they ask questions. I spelled ask wrong. I got to fix that. Instead of waiting for players to be angry after years of asking. That's kind of true. You don't wait for somebody to be pissed, then say, okay, I'm going to finally respond. This is years. This is not like one day. This is not 1 hour. This isn't 1 month. It's not even 6 months. This is years. This has been going on for years. And after a while, people get a little upset. We do our jobs as players. Now we're asking for you guys to do yours. And that's true. We're doing our jobs as players, letting you know what we want, what we see is missing, what we see the problems are, what some of the errors are, what some of the bugs are. We're doing our jobs notifying you. So when are you and devs and when are you forum managers going to start to do yours? And respond to players when they ask questions. That's true. If Major asked me this all could have been avoided if he just answered me for the last couple years, Major. 2 years it took you to even answer me. 2 years. How could you justify you being a forum manager when you're not responding to players? You're only responding to the easy stuff. Justify keeping your job to me today. What did you do to earn your paycheck? Okay? That's what it's going to come down to. It's what I'm asking the devs when I wrote a letter. Justify to me keeping your job. What did you do today to earn your paycheck? Right? So, I said, I am a 5-year vet of this game that owns almost every unit, and it's true. I expect a minimum amount of respect back from you guys, and so does every other player. A copy of your response will be the letter I'm sending to you by mail to your manager. I'm not playing around. That's exactly what I did. Okay? I don't know what he means by this isn't going to look good on paper. I don't know what that means, toilet paper. I don't know who you're responding to on that. But it's going to have to be one where you got to be a little more specific on that. It's going to be hard for anybody to respond to. Okay? Let me show you what some of the problems are. Complaining about this long time tech tree problem that's been going on for Japan, and it's been a very long time, right? So you can see this is dated from last year, 1 year ago. That's just 1 year ago. More squads for Japan vehicles. That's January 11th, somebody was asking. You're going to find stuff that's dated back a very long time, and people have been making YouTubes. People have been asking for a rewritten of this. That's March 23. You can scroll down here for a long time, and you're going to see multiple complaints about how the Japanese tech tree in Enlisted is blatantly just not completed, it's not fixed, and it's lazily being handled. So am I upset? Yeah. Do I have major complaints? Yeah. Is there bigger problems in the world going on? Yeah. But right now, as a paid player, and you're going to ignore paid players, especially long-time loyal ones, is part of the problem in Enlisted. Part of the problem going on in the forum is the managers not doing their jobs. If the managers are not doing their jobs, sure as hell, if the devs ain't doing their jobs, there's no oversight going on. There's no discipline going on. It's too loosey-goosey, in other words. And it's part of the problem in Enlisted, and that's why Enlisted is just not growing. They lost a lot of players from the merge. Most of them didn't come back, or they only come back for a short while later. right? The Jets did bring a lot of people back. And you know why the Jets brought a lot of people back? Because it was new. Because they added material. And they made a little money off of it, like the F-80. They would bring a lot of players back if they just add Japanese premium tanks, Japanese premium planes, add it to the regular text tree for everybody, but they blatantly are just too lazy and too stupid to do it. They're not fixing the bot problem. They're not fixing the distant marker problem. They're not even responding to people. Okay, for me personally, if you play Russia, they do have body armor in the game, but it doesn't seem like it's making a much difference. I saw some other YouTuber did a math on it. It's like maybe like a 10% hit point difference. That's like one extra shot. To me, the body armor hasn't made much difference in Russia, but other players feel that it has, and they want a response to either taking away or giving body armor to everybody, and I respect that. The problem is when I'm looking at all these comments, there hasn't been one response from any moderator on it. That's another big thing a lot of people are commenting on, and it's been ignored. And when you ignore players, you can't get mad if they stop spending money in the game and leaving. And that's a common problem in Enlisted. This is stuff that you're supposed to be as a CEO of Enlisted or Gagey and addressing. You can't just come in, collect a paycheck, kick your feet up on a desk, and just spin a little yo-yo around and, you know, doing your little laziness that you're doing out the day. You're going to have to earn your paychecks. You're going to have to earn it. Or Enlisted's going to die in the near future. A lot of people don't think it will. But unless more players come, they're not going to make enough to cover. They're just not. Because people like me is going to stop spending money in this game. And I'm not the only one. You saw it in the forum. We're not happy with these little updates. We're not happy with these little events that are just repeat events with stuff that we've already gotten. Okay? We want new stuff. We want bigger events. We want something better. And we want more effort in the game than copy and pasting. So the current event that's going on in Enlisted, it just came out yesterday. Half a day ago for, you know, whatever, depending on where timeline you're in. It's just a copy and paste event. Anybody can copy and paste. That's not justifying doing your job. Redoing events from the past, re-adding them, is not justifiable for a whole paycheck. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not going to fly. It's not going to cut it. So you listed devs are going to have to either stop being lazy or you're going to have to start getting your resumes together. And personally, if I was an investor and engaging in Enlisted, I start looking into the forum and some of these other social media things that they're using, and you can start seeing the responses and let you know whether or not you should invest in the game. If they haven't, you know, the investors, the big people that want to fund money, the board members, maybe, whatever the case might be, you know, you're going to have to start rethinking stuff. So right now, yeah, Enlisted needs new management and needs new forum rules. They're going to have to start writing up these forum managers and start threatening them that, hey, look, you're going to have to start responding to these players because I'll tell you what, they're going to do the same thing Donald Trump does, right? They're going to throw you under the bus because devs will say, oh, we didn't know about this because the forum managers never told us, right? They're going to say, oh, we didn't know people are complaining about the body armor. We didn't know there was a problem in the PlayStation for this. We didn't know there was a PC problem for that. We didn't know because the forum managers never told us. They never forwarded anything. They're going to throw Major under the bus because at the end of the day, they're going to try to save their jobs and not save yours. That's a problem in a game company. That's a problem in Civilization 7 when they just laid off. They scapegoated everybody they sent home, but the people part of the problem still kept their jobs. So you as a forum manager have to decide, hey, look, what's more important, me having integrity right now, right? Or do I go after player bases and lie and say they're using profanity when they didn't, like that guy just showed you, blatantly lied. You can see for himself, he lied. He shouldn't have a job right now because he lied. He should be walking out the door. He should be stripped of having a moderator title. If you're going to lie, don't be a moderator, right? It's as simple as that. I don't appreciate that. But yeah, but right now in the Enlisted, there's some problems going on. There's bugs that need fixed. There's things that need to be added, and they're not doing it. And these new events that they just add, it's just copy and paste, man. Copy and paste. You cannot justify your job to me copy and pasting. It's sick. So hopefully, if you like Enlisted, you know, hopefully we keep playing. Hopefully we keep getting new players in. But we, as a player base, are going to have to do all the work because the devs are just not working, man. They are not doing their jobs. They are literally cannot justify to themselves why they deserve a paycheck today because they haven't done anything. Copy and pasting, that's not going to cut it anymore. We're sick of it. It's time for you Enlisted devs. It's time for you Enlisted moderators to grow up. start helping solve the problems of this game so we could bring new players in this game and make this game the way it should be. Let's go. Let's get the ball rolling.